Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to the stream. It's Friday, and you know what that means? It's time for Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects you can find around the house, if you can find anything around your house, because, yep, that echoiness has continued to intensify. Holy crap, there's not a lot left in the house, which is super exciting and also super weird. Hi everybody, you made it through the week. Huzzah. It's been a remarkably good week, I think, for me anyway. Hopefully for you as well, but I don't want to speak for you. But yeah, it's been a lot of moving and planning and organizing. I just got to do an audition. Many of you may not know that my degree's in theater, and I just got to do the first audition I've done in like 6 years, I think, which was super fun. Made me miss acting a little bit, so that's good. Good to know. But yeah, hi everyone. I hope that you are not as distracted as I am by the echo, because I know I've been complaining about it a lot the last few days, and that's not going to change today, because wow, there's nothing for sound there's nothing left in here to dampen sound. Sound is just bouncing every which way. And this is our second to last class in this space, which is wild. We've been doing all of the, specific nitty-gritty errands of the move process, address changes, and setting up utilities, and internet, strangely enough, an important thing for me to have available to me, considering, this. And it's all feeling really real. Really real. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for you all to see the new space. It looks great. Well, I mean, it looks filled with random crap right now, but it will look great. And it may not get fully set up for, a few weeks, but it will be a lovely little space for us to work out in. And yeah, I'm just really excited. So much. There's so much. So much to do. So much to do. So much to see. Sorry, that's where I went. You know what? No, I don't apologize for that. Oh, golly. Yeah. And it's Friday. I'm going to be kind of spacey today, because it's just been such a whirlwind week. Getting everything finished and lots of moving of large pieces of furniture and smaller pieces of furniture. And yeah, I feel like my brain is just always a part of it right now is reserved for thinking about things that need to get done. But I am so excited to decorate and set up furniture in different spaces, and it's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so cool. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot of energy, my friends. I'm feeling a lot of energy. It's remarkable what a shift like that can do. A shift in space can really just feel like it opens up so much energy, so much possibility for change. Oh, I am sore though. Oh man, space. Yes, exactly. Okay, precisely. But we're here, which is awesome, and we're ready to work out, which is awesome. Hello, and chat's already filling up with awesome humans who I love very dearly, and I'm always happy to see on here. Sorry, I did drank a remarkable amount last night, because you know what, sometimes you just have to celebrate by finishing off a bottle of whiskey. I did it, and I, didn't suffer for it nearly as much as I should have today, but I am also wildly underhydrated right now. So, alcohol needs to lead to hydration. Yay. But we'll get to that after class, after functional home fitness. So if this is your first time at functional home fitness, welcome. We do a weight training class, just finding random stuff around our homes. Today I have, because they're two of the few things that are left in this apartment, my trusty large laundry detergent bottle and my backpack, which I should probably zip closed before we start. But yeah, backpack's got, what do we have in here? Yes, my personal training textbook, and a few other random books that were already in it. So yeah, make sure you have a couple of items. Like laundry detergent bottles are great. Bags that have top handles or that can be held from the sides are great because you can load them with different things. Books are super awesome, although I personally will not be going for books today, but always an option. I like to give two advisories before we start this class. The first one is kind of specific to this class, and the other one is more about free weight training in general, particularly arm exercises. So, the advisory specific to this class: we're doing weight training with things that are not designed as weights. They're not nice and ergonomically shaped like dumbbells and kettlebells. They don't have the amount of weight written plainly on the side. And so we're not able to load ourselves as deliberately as we normally would do. So if this is your first time taking class, I want you to err on the side of caution when you decide how much weight to use for an exercise. Test it out for an entire set. And you may get to the end of the set and go, oh, wow, yeah, that was heavier than I thought. I think I'll stick with this. Or maybe I need to pull a book out of here. This was a little too heavy. Or you may decide that it isn't heavy enough, and then you can add weight on. But just especially in this first class, when you're starting to get to know the things that you might be using for class, and getting a better sense of how much they weigh, just be cautious. You don't want to like wildly overload yourself. The second advisory is more about free weight training in general, particularly arm exercises. So we are not symmetrical creatures. We all have stronger sides and weaker sides. And with free weight arm exercises in particular, frequently they involve having two weights of equal weight, one in each hand. And often we have this tendency to think, oh, well, I want to get my weaker side up to the strength of my stronger side, so I'm going to load myself based on what my stronger side can manage. Please do not do this, okay? If you're overloading your weaker side with an amount of weight that it is not prepared to handle, that is not going to help you strengthen more quickly. It is, however, going to put you in a position of having to do really awkward and unhealthy compensations just to move the weight through space, and is going to make it far more likely that you end up injuring yourself. And that always sucks. That's how I ended up with my chronic shoulder stuff, which will probably bug me for most of the rest of my life, which really, really freaking sucks. And it was because nobody told me this, and I wish someone had. So this is me telling you, always load towards the capacity of your weaker side, not your stronger side. It may feel a little light for your stronger side, and that's okay, all right? Your stronger side's not going to get weaker by using a lighter weight, but it will allow you to ramp up slowly and carefully and safely, and slowly increasing the amount of weight that you use based on actual improvements in strength, and not just wishful thinking of, well, if I use the super heavy weight, obviously I'll get stronger faster. Not really how it works. So those are the advisories. Huzzah. And now let's do the pre-class checklist. Yeah. We have our water bottles or water mason jars or water pint glasses, whatever you're using. You're in your living room. You can use whatever you want. You could have an entire row of shot glasses with a little water in them, just like kick one back. I don't necessarily recommend that. That sounds like a lot of work, but hey, I'm not here to tell you how to live. Just make sure you have a nice big thing of water and that you're drinking your water consistently through class, all right? Oh yeah, I can't chug this water, but man, do I want to. We've got our comfy clothes on, whatever that means to you. You've got your mat or your mat-sized space on the floor. The amount of floor room that I have right now is far more than I'm used to because all the furniture, or almost all the furniture, is gone from the apartment. And if you use a fitness wearable, now's the time to turn it on to a strength training setting, not high-intensity interval training for today, because that's not going to be our focus. We're going to be doing more traditional weight training. So, and most wearables have a setting that at least has that name on it. You know, I'm never really sure how much of a difference it makes in the actual tracking for me to tell the watch, oh, I'm doing this activity versus this activity. But, you know, it's not really any skin off my nose, so I might as well put in more detail. And yeah, let me turn on the speaker. Yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah. I am feeling a little worn, but in a very good way. You know, not a overworked way, just in a, like, there is a lot going on, a lot that I'm finishing up, a lot that I'm kicking off. And it takes a lot of energy, but it also feels really exciting to do, which is really nice. So let's do our warm-up, my friends. If you're new to this class, but you've taken any of my other classes, you will know this warm-up because it's the same one that we do all the time. Hopefully I am framed well. I discovered that I am so used to setting up my mats based on where certain furniture items are, and now those items are not here, and so I had no idea where to put my mat. So hopefully I'm in frame, and if not, hopefully you remember the warm-up well enough. So we're going to start on our mats, on our backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee, and as soon as you hear that timer go, we will begin with hip rocks and bridges. Hey, there we go. So remembering that, as always, this is a warm-up, not an invitation to jump straight to maximum intensity and maximum energy output. So we are not, we're not going for 100%. We are going for system boot ups. And so we don't want to be running through all of our available energy right now and then having nothing left for the rest of class. And of course, today's class doesn't use energy in the same way that our more cardio-heavy HIIT classes do. But it's still just a good thing to keep in mind whenever you're warming up for any activity. You know, you wanna make sure that you are allowing your body and your brain to actually turn on all those systems, and you wanna make sure that they have the opportunity to get energy production ramped up without then immediately losing all of that available fuel to doing the warm-up. So, yeah, just a good reminder for us all every time we do this particular class. Oh my God, it's so echoey. I feel like I'm swimming in sound right now. I also realized that I miscalculated how much workout gear I needed to leave behind at the house. So if you come to tomorrow morning's class and I'm wearing the same outfit, well, I blame moving. So yeah, moving definitely is a barely restrained tornado, moving through two places at once, because, you know, barely restrained tornado here and barely restrained tornado over at the house. And so that means that it's just, everything is double chaos. But I'm so excited. It's such a lovely location. And I already know one of my neighbors, which is wild. I don't think I've known my neighbors in decades, honestly. I don't think I've ever known my neighbors as an adult in any of the places that I've lived. That's just not, that's not how apartment living goes most of the time, you know? It's very much, we're all in our separate units, and, you know, mostly if we think about each other at all, it's to grumble about the fact that we can, you know, hear somebody watching the Hobbit trilogy for the 5th time this month at what seems like max volume. So yeah, moving to like more of an actual, you know, neighborhood type thing where I will actually have the opportunity to like meet the people around me, is kind of wild. It's kind of wild. It's been a while. So I'm looking forward to that, you know? I am looking forward to having someone I can borrow sugar from, yeah, without having to go more than 2 houses down. That seems like really weird and idyllic, but yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool. And I already have so many plans for landscaping, front and backyard, sort of getting rid of grass yards, because they're just so environmentally awful. So I'd rather set up an ecosystem in those spaces that makes sense with the area that I live in, and that isn't going to be utilizing huge amounts of water resources. And they're small spaces, so, you know, either way, they're not going to utilize huge amounts of resources. But lawns are just so environmentally unforgivable. They truly are. The amount of water that we waste on watering lawns, and like, it's really horrifying going through a lot of the neighborhoods around here, because, you know, you get to a particular season and you get to a particular time of night, and every freaking sprinkler goes off, and frequently they're not aimed correctly, so they're spraying more water on the pavement and the sidewalk than they are on the actual grass. And it's just like, what is the purpose of this? It's like, we're living in a state that frequently ends up with drought conditions and bad fire conditions, and y'all want to be over here watering these freaking useless lawns, and frequently not actually watering them because you're not actually getting the water on the lawn, you're getting it on the sidewalk and on the road. Like, it's kind of unconscionable. So there there are a couple of houses on the street that have some really lovely no grass landscaping setups. And I definitely want to take pages from those books. And then in the backyard, I'd like to set up, like I want to do more gardening, and I've been reading, or I've read some about restoration agriculture and sort of setting up food growth systems that mimic actual natural systems, from like the large trees that have the biggest impact on soil composition to smaller, bushes, and then more ground level plants, and sort of taking that really holistic approach. So around here, that basically means aspen trees are usually going to be your largest tree because they're everywhere. So basically, I'm going to move into this house and I'm going to become like ridiculously crafty and gardeny, and it's going to be really funny. But I'm so excited about it. I'm really excited about it. I will definitely be putting out calls for advice. Probably doing some rest day rambling Insta stories where we just sort of go over various plans and see how they're coming along. And yeah, I wanna take you on some of this journey, because I think it's gonna be a really, really cool journey. And I'm just like so amazed and so grateful for the opportunity to have the space to try this out, to have the space to be able to grow and garden and landscape in the way that I've never been able to before as an adult, because I've lived in apartment buildings my whole adult life, which is wild to think about. Wow. But not now. Now there will be so much more freedom and opportunity. That's going to be really cool. I promise I won't spend all of my time talking about these projects. It's all very much on my mind right now, obviously. Because, yeah, this is a big step. Big step, my friends. But no matter where I end up, we will still have these streams. Because you know what? We can, as I like to ensure, we can do these streams anywhere. And so even if, I ended up in a super small apartment again for some reason, I would still bring you with me, and we'd, figure out how to decorate the space. Figure out how to make it more homey. But, oh man. Yeah, just so many ideas. So many things I've never really thought of myself as caring about before. And I think now that I'm like experiencing this, I feel like some of that is just having spaces that inspire you to do that, and some of it is just as we get older, and particularly over the last year when we've all spent so much more time in our homes than we're used to, there's more recognition of how much of an impact the space around us has on our mental health and our physical health. And yeah, it's definitely not something that I have put a ton of thought into before. And I really have discovered over this last almost year that, yeah, the the space you live in and how it's set up and how it's decorated absolutely has a huge, huge impact on your mental well-being. And man, I hope that I don't lose track of that lesson going forward, because it's just, yeah, it's remarkable. Even just the potential of the new space to get set up in a better way is so thrilling. And yeah, I'm gonna take as much advantage of that as I can. Yeah. Oh, wow. I've got some sore muscles today, my friends. I definitely worked hard on Tuesday and Wednesday. Coming off that rest week, you have that post-rest week high of, woo, I can go crazy. I have all of this energy that I haven't really used in a week. And I can definitely feel that I really pushed myself on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is nice. And also, ow, but also there's something really fun about sore muscles from a good workout, you know, and it's a very different feeling from pain that's brought on by injury. You know, you can definitely tell the difference between, ooh, cool, my calves are feeling really sore because I worked out really hard a couple of days ago, versus, oh, my calf is really sore. I think I pulled a muscle or something. And yeah, I think I've talked about how I don't necessarily get, sorry, there's a hair in my mouth. I don't necessarily get DOMS much anymore, delayed onset muscle soreness. It's still in there. Look, I can't go through class. I'm gonna have to go through class with a hair in my mouth. Great. Hopefully I swallow it at some point. But yeah, I don't get it too much anymore. And so it's always kind of a nice reminder when it does show up. A nice opportunity to go, hey there. Thanks for reminding me that I worked out really hard. Hey, I got it. That was annoying. All right, finishing out our wonderful warm-up with burpees, as per usual. Don't forget, wave push-up and victory clap up the top. This is the most energy we are expending in the warm-up. We're still not to 100%. You're still wanting to pay attention to not overtaxing your fuel systems this early in the process, but you definitely should be breathing a little more heavily and feeling like you've broken a bit of a sweat. Okay. Cleaning and organizing a closet. You know, that's a good thing. That is a good thing to get done. The plan is to buy the place. So, you know, it'll probably take me a while before I make those kinds of changes. But also, you know, the owners are two of my best friends from college, so if I talk to them about it, I probably could make that happen. But they'll be longer term projects, absolutely. I'm probably getting a little ahead of myself in talking about them right now, but I have plans. I have big plans. I haven't had plans like that for any space I've ever lived in. All right, friends, it's time to do a nice free weight training session. So we're gonna do, I can speak, really. We're gonna do our usual setup. So we're gonna have 4 exercises and we're gonna be rotating through them 4 times in total. And the way that we're gonna do that is have a 2-minute timer. And when the timer starts, we will do all of our reps in one go and then use the rest of the timer as rest, basically, okay? So our exercises, and the nice thing is 2 of the exercises are the same exercise, just side 1 and side 2. Oh, puzzle pieces. Hey, boos. You poor things. Okay. There's 1, and there's 2. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Much better. So, yes. First and third exercises are going to be our 1 dumbbell toe raise. So, as the name implies, if I was doing this exercise with gym equipment, I'd be using a dumbbell. Since I'm not, I'm using my giant laundry detergent bottle. So I'm going to stand on 1 foot, nice balance, and I'm going to hold the weight in the arm that's on the same side, and I'm just going to push up onto the ball of my foot and then lower down and up and lower. So basically, holding the weight just gives us a little more external force that the calf has to push through to get to the top of the position, okay? Make sure that you're engaging your core, you're stabilizing everything, all the stuff that we talk about in balance positions. You want to make sure that you have that all. You also want to make sure that you set yourself up somewhere where you can keep a hand on a wall, on a counter, just for that added balance and stability, all right? We're not looking to do this like free balancing, okay? Also, traditionally, I would do this exercise off of the back of a stair, which I don't have any stairs in here, so that's not possible. But if you have a stair available to you close by and want to use that, it allows you to drop your heel down a little bit farther in the rest position. And so, again, because you have more distance to travel, that adds another layer of challenge onto the exercise. But if you don't have a stair, obviously, I just do this from the ground. So don't worry about that. Second exercise is 1 dumbbell front raise. Again, I would normally be doing this with a dumbbell and just holding it with both hands by the handle. I'm going to use my backpack for this because I can grip the sides pretty easily. And I'm just going to hold the weight in front of me with my arms extended. And I'm just going to lift up to about chest height. So lift until you can't see me anymore, and lower, and lift, and lower, okay? Then the third exercise is just side 2 of our toe raises, okay? So we do 1 side of toe raises, then we do the 1 dumbbell front raise, then we do side 2 of toe raises, and the 4th exercise is tricep extensions. This is going to be the skull crusher variation. So, yay! The last book left in the house, the PHP. Actually, I do also have that textbook in there, so maybe I'll use the textbook for that. We'll see. It's okay, everything's fine. So, for the skull crusher variation, lying on the floor, I've got my knees bent, my feet flat on the floor, and I'm going to extend this above my head, and then I am going to lower it backwards until it's close to the floor, and then extend back up and lower and up. So again, I would normally be doing that with a dumbbell, and just have my hands wrapped around the handle, but a textbook works quite well. So those are our exercises. 1 dumbbell toe raises, 1 dumbbell front raise, and skull crushers. Make sure your water is somewhere easily accessible. In terms of reps, let's go for 25 to 35 today. So again, you do all the reps in a row, and then use the rest of the timer as a rest, okay? Holy crap. Discord is blowing up. All right, so everybody get prepared. Get to wherever you need to get to start with our 1 dumbbell toe raises, because as soon as you hear that horn, we will be going. Hey! And I want you to make sure, as you're holding the weight, obviously we're not moving the weight around, and so that does mean that you can probably go for a weight on the heavier side, because when we're not actually manipulating the weight to move it around, we can generally just hold and stabilize a heavier weight in those instances. But I do want you to make sure that your shoulder is fully engaged and stabilized. So you should not be letting the weight drag your arm down. But also you don't want your shoulder turtling up to your ear. So just make sure that the muscles are engaged, that they are holding nice and firmly, and that you're not feeling like the weight is starting to drag you over, okay? That's the main thing. You also want to make sure that, again, we talked about the stabilizing muscle groups for a balance position, and you also want them engaged, particularly the core, again, so that that weight doesn't start to drag your torso down, okay? You want your trunk to stay nice and straight and solid while you're doing this exercise, okay? And if we're holding the heavy weight, the weight's gonna be like, but what if you come over here? And you have to be like, huh, nope, I'm not going over there, Wade. I know you want me to, but I'm not gonna. All right, knock, knock, knock. So that tells us we have 10 seconds, and then the horn will go, and we will begin our 1 dumbbell front raise. And I'm gonna do this to the side just because it feels a little silly to raise this bag in front of my face and just block my face off from the camera every time. So I'm gonna do this from the side, and you can see that I've got, again, my trunk is nice and stable, all right? And it's not going anywhere. The only thing moving is this weight, and this is a single joint exercise. So the only joint that's moving is our shoulder joint, all right? We're not involving any other joints in this process. So we're just lifting and lowering and lifting and lowering. And again, making sure that we do not allow the weight to drag us down, okay? Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my goodness. Make sure you're grabbing your water too. Very important, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very, very important to have the waters. Yeah. How's everybody doing? I feel like the echo makes me feel like I'm so much farther away from you all. I'm not actually farther away from you, but yeah, I'm like, hello, hello, hello. What's going on over here? What's going on over there? Oh, well, the timer is going on over there, telling us that we need to get ready for side 2 of our toe raises. So make sure you're on your second side, okay? Make sure that you've got the weight on the same side as the calf that's working, okay? So don't put the weight on the opposite side of the body. We're not trying to counterbalance. And that's another reason why we definitely want to have a hand on a wall or a counter to aid in that balance, and make sure that we're not, again, getting pulled over towards the weight. But check in on all of those stabilizing muscle groups, your core, your glutes. Are they all engaged, doing that work that they need to do to help keep you nice and stable and solid while you do these toe raises? I don't know what we did on Tuesday and or Wednesday that has made my calves so sore, but we did something. And I am feeling that something today. I recognize that it's highly unlikely that any of you have any sympathy for me in this particular instance, and I accept that. But yeah, whoo, just definitely feeling them. Definitely feeling them today. And it could also be that, you know, Thursday wasn't really a rest day because there was, again, a lot of moving of heavy furniture upstairs and downstairs and all of that fun stuff. So there's probably a little of that baked in. All right. Finally, last but not least, we're doing our skull crushers as soon as that horn blows. There we are. So I'm using this textbook and I'm holding it closer to the bottom of the book, but you do not have to do that. Obviously, if you hold closer to the top of the book, then you'd be able to lower a little bit farther, because we don't want to lower it all the way to the ground. So it's finding the balance between wanting to be able to take the exercise down as low as we want to go, but not wanting the center of the book to be so offset that you're trying to manage that weight at the same time. And again, that's one of those modifications that we frequently have to pay attention to when we're weightlifting with equipment like this, which is not, you know, designed for weightlifting. So it's just an important thing for you to pay attention to, because yeah, you need to find that line. All right, and I can give you recommendations, but ultimately, because we're all using different items, just be aware that you need to find that line. You want to make sure that you are in full control of the weight at all times, and that you know that goes for any weight training. And that's again one of the reasons why I talk about not overloading your weaker side to try and get it up to snuff faster, because if we use something that is too heavy for us, then we are not assured that we are in control of that weight. And when we are using heavy weights, we need to make sure that we are in control of them, okay? So you don't want to be using a weight that's so heavy that you feel like you're teetering on the precipice of losing it every second that you're even holding it, okay? So just pay attention to that, you know? Nothing that we're doing in these classes is going for like a one rep maximum, you know? That like, so when people talk about that for weight training, it's basically finding the amount of weight that you can feasibly do a single perfect rep of an exercise with, okay? That's not what we're doing here. We're not looking for that. So you want to make sure that you are using a weight that is not threatening your safety, basically, or the safety of the people around you. You know, if we were back in a gym setting, that's something you absolutely need to pay attention to. Is who's around you? Who might get hurt if I lose control of this, 35-pound kettlebell? Me, myself, obviously, but, the teenager walking by, or the 67-year-old who's using one of the stationary bikes, So always pay attention to that. And there's no need for us to, don't be a hero, because you want to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe and that you're keeping anybody who is around you while you're working out safe. Those are both super, super important factors. And they're still that important even when you're working out at home, Fewer people for you to potentially injure, probably just yourself, but also could be roommates, partners, parents, So keep that in mind at all times. Make sure that you are confident that the amount of weight that you've chosen is an amount of weight that you can maintain control over. Oh man, so we're on our second time through right now for all of these exercises. We're about to get to our second time through side 2 of the toe raises. Well, about to get, we still have plenty of rest timer, but it's the next thing coming up. So I want you to really check your form every time. Every single time we come back around, make sure that your form is just as good in whatever set you're on right now as it was in the very first set. So, not necessarily as relevant right now. We're only on set number 2 for all of these exercises. By the time we get to 3, by the time we get to 4, we've been doing these for a while. We've got fatigue building up in our muscle groups. It's really important that you check in and that you make sure that you are still maintaining the form for every exercise and that you're still maintaining it just as strongly as you were the first time around. The first time around is easy. Your muscles are fresh, you've got that pump of energy from the warm-up and from booting up all of those systems. Like, you're good to go. By the time we get to the 4th run through, we cycle through 4 exercises to give our different muscle groups a chance to recuperate, to have a little bit of a rest where they're not the main attraction. But, 4 sets in, and we're definitely feeling some stuff. So you need to make sure that you're checking in on your form always, and that you are maintaining it safely Always, okay? We're not over here going until you just can't wrestle that weight up anymore, okay? Make sure you're drinking your water. I definitely forgot for a bit there. And it's important for me because I'm just chattering away. So it's amazing how much fluid is expended just by, you know, the breathing and exhalation of talking a lot, in addition to the sweating and intensity of working out, you know. And obviously, our weight training days are a little bit simpler in that regard, you know. We're not going for anything massively cardio focused, but it's still something to figure out. And it's still very important to make sure that we're hydrating through all of this, because quite frankly, we're really bad at hydrating most of the time. I think I can't remember if I talked on this particular class stream. I've definitely improved my personal hydration. One of the things that I've started doing is just that giant mason jar is always out, and if it is empty, I immediately go and fill it. And you know, if it's sitting around and it's got water in it, then I am much more apt to pick it up and have a quick sip and go from there. So it's definitely really important, and that's a really nice just visual cue. And setting up those we've talked about how cueing can be so helpful in setting up habits and rituals for ourselves. So in the morning, when I get up and I start making my morning tea, and I'll wander through the living room to pick up dishes and stuff like that, and I'll see this sitting there and I'll go, haha, I need to take my supplements. And so I've gotten really good and consistent at taking my morning supplements because this is always just sitting out, and the second I see it in the morning, I go, oh, cool, I need to do this thing. So whatever cues, visual cues you can set up for yourself, it just makes the process of maintaining a habit or maintaining a ritual so much easier, because you're not having to put a lot of decision energy into remembering to do the thing. And that is what trips us up. We have, you know, finite stores of basically the energy and motivation to make decisions. And those stores get depleted and they need to be replenished in the same way that our physical energy stores get depleted and need to be replenished. And so one of the things that I've found super helpful in maintaining my morning rituals is just setting up basically a waterfall effect, where I come out into the living room in the morning and I don't have to think about, okay, what am I going to do next? And okay, what's the next step here? I just have a series of steps that I know I'm going to do, that I know I'm going to move through, and that way I can get through all of the things that I want to get through. And it's really exciting because I feel really solid in my morning rituals right now in a way that I've never managed before. This is absolutely something I've struggled with. And I know for people with anxiety or ADHD, it can be really hard to set up, even though habit and ritual can be incredibly useful for those brain types, it can be really hard to set those rituals up ourselves. Yeah, one of the recommendations that I've seen people make that are good recommendations for everybody, but are particularly useful for people with those brain setups, is just trying to remove as much of the decision-making process as possible from the process. And that's where setting up these visual cues can be really helpful. And setting up a specific set of steps that I'm going to move through in the morning. And leaving myself, still leaving myself some flexibility. So small things can be changed as I want to, you know, so I'm not getting bored with the setup. So like I like to write a page of something every morning, but whether that's going to be like a stream of consciousness page or a page in my journal or a poem or a short story is something that I decide in the moment based on how I'm feeling. And so that allows me to have these little small sort of points of control that I can use to keep the process and keep the ritual feeling really fresh, so that I'm not, you know, going a few weeks and then getting bored and being like, well, I just won't do these things this morning, and then never going back to it again, which is definitely something I've struggled with, and I'm sure that resonates with many of you as well. And it can be really frustrating, and it makes it even harder to feel confident in trying to set up rituals and habits in the first place. You know, if you feel like you've tried and tried over and over again and just not been able to maintain, that's really demoralizing. And that gets really tiring to try and deal with. And, you know, then when you go and try again, you're already working at something of a motivation disadvantage because you've got these mental histories that are making you more frightened of the process, making you less sure that you'll be able to do it, you know? So it's important to be kind to ourselves when we're trying to set these things up. It's important to remind ourselves that progress and things that we want to work towards, it's so rarely a straight linear progression, and that's okay, you know? And the better we can get at giving ourselves the grace and the space to fail or to not succeed immediately, but to keep trying and keep going for it and keep, you know, believing in ourselves, like that's huge. Hang on, there's a big thing. Oh yeah. Hydration, man. I'm telling you, having, just trying to remember that, like, every time I walk past this giant mason jar with water in it, trying to remind myself to just ask myself the question, when's the last time I drank water? I try to leave it where I am sitting most often, so that, you know, if you have like a favorite spot on the couch or a favorite armchair or a desk that you use a lot of the day, leaving it there in that sort of high traffic area so that it's just sitting there and you don't have to get up when you need to drink water, you just have that water there. Again, trying to remove unnecessary decision points, right? If I know I need to hydrate, but that requires me to get up and to go to the kitchen and to pour a glass of water, and then to return to wherever I was. You know, that can sometimes feel like a lot of steps. And when you have executive dysfunction issues, that can be the difference. That can be the thing that keeps you from being able to go hydrate, is being like, that is so many steps, and I don't have the energy to take those steps. So having that water right next to you, right next to the place that you are going to be most frequently, helps to reduce those. And then having the mental cue, the visual cue, that if I look over and I see that the water glass is empty, I just automatically refill it, you know? And so that's one decision point as opposed to a ton. It drastically reduces the number of times that I need to deliberately choose to go to kitchen, find cup, fill cup, return to wherever I was, drink from cup, you know? So again, the more that we can set up these mental cues, visual cues for ourselves, the easier it can make setting up habits and rituals like that. So that's my recommendation for the day. We're on our last set, my friends. Holy crow. I've been talking away and didn't realize that we were that far through. Amazing. Isn't that awesome? And this has been a good workout too. I'm feeling some good things. I hope you are as well. With our hodgepodge of whatever we could find that was going to work for our weight training today. And it's just really good to remind ourselves that the super expensive gym equipment is not a requirement to, even if you want to do some weight training. Obviously, you know, this class is not a substitute for people who are doing Olympic lifting, you know. That is a much more specialized activity, and it's not probably going to be something that you can replicate by just wandering around your apartment. But if your weight training regimen more frequently focuses on free weight training, you absolutely can get that done in your home without needing to own lots of dumbbells and kettlebells and all that stuff. You can get that done in your home with just whatever random books and bags and stock pots. I've used stock pots before. Just whatever random stuff you can find. You can then turn that into something to work out with. And that's really cool. That's really freaking cool. Oh yeah, there we go. Gotta love that water. Oh, golly. I'm looking forward to food. Post-workout food's gonna be good today. Yeah. Have you planned out your post-workout food? It's important to start replenishing those energy stores within 30 minutes of finishing class so that, you know, you have as much built back up as possible when you join me at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Right? Right? That's your plan, yeah? To join me for the morning class? Like, it is a wonderful class. It's going to be our last class in this space, which is absolutely wild. But oh man, what an opportunity is ahead. So yeah, I hope that you do join for the weekend kickoff. You know, any of you who take that class with me on a more regular basis know that it's definitely one of my faves in terms of our class structures. Is just such a fun way to start the day, give ourselves a nice burst of energy to take with us through the rest of the day, through whatever else we may have to get done. I like it a lot, and I'm not a morning workout person in general. I definitely tend to work out in the afternoons. It's just, you know, because frequently working out in the morning requires like getting up super early in order to fit a workout in. You know, if you have an 8 a.m. start time for work, and maybe you have, you know, kids you need to drop off at school, and you're like, well, you know, suddenly that means that in order for me to get to work by 8, I have to get the kids to school by, you know, 7 or 7:30, and we need to have breakfast and all that stuff, and before you know it, you're waking up at 4 in the morning to do a workout, and that is most assuredly not my jam. But I do love our Saturday morning class. It is late enough in the morning, it's like mid-morning, and so I'm not getting up any earlier than I normally would in order to teach that class. And that helps a lot, you know, just not feeling that pressure to be like, no, I have to be up at 5 a.m. to do class. Like, ugh, no, that is not a life I'm interested in. But 9 a.m., you know, I'm usually up an hour and a half before that anyway. So it feels really nice and easy to get that done. Oh, hey, oh, my friends, well, you're finishing up your skull crushers, and that's going to be the end. So I'm going to let the timer run through because everybody's doing their reps at their own pace. You know, I never cut off the final timer because some people can get all those reps done in 30 seconds and then have a minute and a half for rest. Some people need a minute and a half to get all those reps done, you know? So, and that's okay. Either way is absolutely fine. That's why we have the nice big chunk of time. So we're gonna let the timer run out. So if you have finished your reps, hey, guess what time it is? Time to not breathe water down the wrong pipe is what time it is. Knock, knock, knock into nothing. There we are, my friends. Woo! Let's just do a real quick little stretch out. Let's stretch out those calves because they have worked hard. So doing the calf stretch with the wall assistance. So pretend that there's a wall in front of me. I'm going to extend one leg behind me. So I've got the front knee bent. So it's a little bit of a lunge position. But my goal is to get my heel all the way down to the floor. And if I can get most of the way there, but not all the way there, that's where putting pressure against the wall helps you to drive yourself a little bit more deeply into the stretch. Keep those hips facing forward. Keep that leg nice and straight so it really increases the stretch in the calf. I'm doing it sort of freestanding because I'm not close enough to a wall, and that's fine. And then other side, and you will probably find differences from side 1 to side 2 in terms of how deeply you can get into the stretch, how far back your leg has to go before you're really feeling the stretch. Again, we are not symmetrical creatures. In case you haven't heard me say that about 1 billion times. Yeah. Hey friends, did you know that we're not symmetrical creatures? Because we sure aren't. Oh yeah. Oh, love that stretch. Let's stretch over the tops of our feet too. So just roll over the toes like this. So you're going to get a nice stretch going up the top of the foot and into the shin. And just go back and forth. So we're not, we're putting a little pressure on to intensify the stretch, but we're not like trying to put our weight onto there. My weight is solidly on this standing leg, and then I can just sort of increase or decrease the pressure as I desire for the foot that's working, okay? And then let's just swing our arms out a little bit. All right, lift one arm up and bring it straight across the chest. Grab that arm just above the elbow and pull it into your chest as close as you can get. So you're going to get a nice shoulder stretch that extends into the tricep a little bit, which given the arm exercises that we did today is going to feel really nice. So just stay here for a little bit. Nice deep breaths, always nice deep breaths when we're doing these stretches. And then we release, let our arms swing back and forth a little bit. We're not pushing with intensity. We're just sort of letting momentum do its thing. And now, other side. And again, you may feel that one side feels the stretch more intensely than the other side. Totally fine, totally normal, as with all things. I'm sure you already said what I would normally say. I don't even have to say it anymore. Oh yeah, and just nice, deep breaths. All right. Woo! Excellent, excellent, excellent. Oh my goodness. Grab those water bottles, yeah? Mm-hmm. Friends, what a good Friday. What a lovely Friday. I am so pleased by this Friday. I'm pleased by this class and I love getting this opportunity to hang out with you folks here in the stream, and get to weight train a little bit, get to share this like moving out process with you. It'll probably look about exactly like this tomorrow morning. Yay, Amanda, oh, that'll be wonderful. It'll probably look about this way tomorrow morning, and then on Tuesday, there'll be the big space reveal. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be amazing. And potentially a better camera reveal too, if I can get my act together and test that over the weekend, which if I don't, I'm going to give myself grace because, there's a lot happening. There's a lot going on next week, and it's important to take care of ourselves. And sometimes I focus on saying that a lot because I know that I can be really bad at doing that. It can be really hard for some of us, for many of us, possibly even most of us, to take care of ourselves and to extend to ourselves the same understanding and forgiveness when we fuck up that we extend to other people that we love when they fuck up. We're always harder on ourselves. We're always less forgiving of ourselves, and that's really sad. That's really sad. The kinds of things that we say to ourselves in our brains it's shit that we would never allow to be said to our loved ones. And yet, for some reason, we're okay saying it to ourselves. And you know, it's a very special cognitive dissonance that can nonetheless be really hard to break through. So I talk about it because I'm trying to remind myself to be kind to myself, to be forgiving of myself, to know that I'm not always going to get it right. And, you know, that is simply a fact of being a human. But knowing that I try to correct as quickly as I can, to reduce harm where I can, to demonstrate growth where I can, and even if I fuck up, to know that I'm going to take that as a very important lesson and try to do things better the next time. So yeah, it's important. It's really important, and it can be one of the hardest lessons to teach ourselves. So if you ever need an external voice that can slide into your brain DMs and be like, hey, go easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself. You're doing a great job in extraordinary circumstances, and you do not have to be perfect. You do not have to be really good at something right away. You can struggle with it. You can take time to build. You can, you know, feel really stressed. That's all okay. So if you need that voice, use me, because I would always want you to remember that. And sometimes it's just really helpful to have someone who we can visualize saying that to us. So yeah, there you go. A little bit of a meditative end to Friday weight training. And I honestly am really wiped. In a good way, but also in the way where I just really want to go make myself some dinner. So I think we're going to close out. We've got one more stream this week, which is also the final stream in the space. It's tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., the weekend kickoff, our awesome strength and stamina focused bodyweight class. I've already sung its praises, so I'll just say, hope you can join us. Well, I keep seeing the space thing and giggling. You can, where am I? What am I doing? I'm closing out, that's what I'm doing. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All those handles will be in my end cards. They are all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel is where I upload all the VODs from these streams, so you never have to miss a class, even if you're not able to make the live cast. So definitely head over there and subscribe. If you want to help support me financially in making these streams, I do have a coffee account, Blanche Case Fitness. Your donations are always very much appreciated. And if you want to help keep growing this community, then please do follow this channel, tell your friends, loved ones, co-workers, stream followers, anybody looking for an awesome class. I stream 4 days a week. We have a lovely little community here. We are tantalizingly close to Twitch affiliate, which would be super exciting. Even apart from that, it's fun here. I love teaching y'all, and I love running these classes. So yeah, make sure to hydrate, make sure to get your food, make sure to have that post-workout shower, enjoy whatever else you've got going on today, and I will see you back here tomorrow morning. Mwah. Have a great night.